From Hollywood, California, welcome to Razor Riffs with your host, Keith Reza.
Excellent. All right. So welcome to the show. Enya Flack is here. We had some Zoom technical difficulties. You and I were going to work on a lawsuit to sue them. You know, you got the experience with your character with all the Queen's men, so we could do this. You know what I mean? We can win. That's what
We
I'm
can do
saying.
it.
Yeah, yeah. So how are you, Enya?
I'm doing great. How are you today?
I'm doing good. I wanted to ask you this before the Zoom difficulties, but do you prefer if I interview you with my blue screen glasses or without? Because I don't want you to think, hey, Jeffrey Dahmer's interviewing me.
I like your glasses. They're
Oh,
very nice.
okay, because I gotta protect myself from the blue screen. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And
I do.
there's no scientific evidence that this actually works too. So I thought I'd try it, and it's just like, if anything, like my mind's just all busy, blurry and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, let me know how it goes. I may need to get some myself. They're supposed
Yeah,
to be very good.
yeah. So and I have a hat because I'm sensitive to light, so I don't want you to think, oh, you know, he's just a dude who wears a hat. So I just want you to know, this is going to be the best interview of your life because
I
I'm a goofball.
I can feel I will. I feel like it's going to be a great interview too. So
Oh, excellent. So I like to start off the interviews with like a silly question that probably has nothing to do with you or your career, but it has something to do with like your personal life. And I wanted to ask, have you ever been gaslit as a prank or something? And if so, can you share?
you know what? I don't think I have.
Oh my
That's a
God.
boring answer, but I no, I I haven't because I haven't done any like online dating or any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I've tried to stay away from that.
Oh yeah.
So no, sorry for the boring answer, but no, I don't think I've ever been gaslit.
Oh
I
my
have
God.
friends who have been, but yeah, but no,
Oh,
not
well, th
myself.
this is a good little joke that you could pull on, like, your future significant other or whatever. And, hey, it could be me, so maybe I shouldn't tell you this. But, if you go to the house, you sneak in, right? And you unscrew all the light bulbs, like in every single house, right? And then I would like just say, for the purpose of the story, it's me. I'd be like, Holy Lord, Enya, the lights are out. You'd be like, oh my God, did you pay the electricity bill? And I'd be like, I thought I did. And then, like, for a whole week, it would just like screw with my head.
It would. It
Yeah.
would. Okay. I'll watch out for that.
Yeah. And I'll be
Thanks for the
like,
tip. It's a good tip.
and then I'd be like, why the fuck does the refrigerator work?
You're right. I'll definitely watch out for that.
Excellent. So I wanted to ask you, like, and I might go like back and forth, like in different timelines of your life and stuff. If I do, I apologize. But I wanted to ask you, like, what was it like? Because you did guest sets on like some of the greatest TV shows, like Fresh Prince, the Wayans brothers, Jamie Foxx, and then like, how is that anxiety? Where like, hey, you're the guest star, and then when you did Malcolm and Eddie, you were kind of like a regular for a while. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
like that's two
Mhm.
different. How'd your mind go with that anxiety or stress and stuff?
Well, I guess I would say that in a way, it kind of depends on how you're looking at it. From like a guess, if it's just a guess, it was a little bit easier in a way. Well, and let me take that back. You have a little bit more pressure on you when you're a series regular because you're an established character and your job is to move the story forward but in a more significant way than if you're a guest.
Right.
Um, and so and of course they're always sort of polling people and asking what do you think of this character, what do you think of that character, so you're hoping that you're doing you're hoping that you're doing a good job or that people are responding well to you. If you're a guest star, there's a little bit of nerves there because you're stepping on into a situation. It's like starting a new job, starting a new job every time you get to work. So you don't necessarily know anybody in the cast or in the crew or whatever. So there's some nerves there too, but at least well, let's see, this will be done in a week. If it's a bad experience,
Right. Yeah.
which it usually isn't, but at least you have an out at the end of the week anyway.
See, like, cause I kind of want to do like I want to be an actor, but I think ever since I started doing stand-up comedy, I lost that ambition. You know what I mean? Because I just want to do stand-up comedy. But I always thought like, hey, if I was a guest star, like for one episode, I'd think to myself, this is not cool at all. I'm gonna get fired. You know what I mean? Like, I won't be back next week. And but if I'm a regular, this would be awesome because I could ask all the cast members to do my podcast.
Well, you could do that, but you could ask as a guest anyway. And it doesn't. You'd have to really screw up pretty badly in order to get fired. I think if you're a guest.
Really?
Yeah, I think you would. I mean, you'd have to, I don't know, show up and maybe you don't know your lines or you're just being a jerk in general, or I mean, something pretty significant would have to happen before I think they let you go if you're
Yeah.
just for a week anyway.
So I was like an extra on the show. Like I don't really like to take credit or whatever, but I was an extra on the show where like you can't really see me. I'm just in the background, like standing in line getting coffee or whatever. And I
Mhm.
remember I watched the show and I couldn't see me. I was like, I don't want to fucking do this. Literally, like, this is like I want to be the star. I want to be the guy to be like, yes, I want the white mocha. I don't know.
I get that. I mean, I definitely get that. But I bet it was exciting for people who knew you to see you even in the background. At least because when I started in Hollywood, I did a few background things, and it was just kind of fun for people, back home in
Right.
North Carolina to see me like, oh, there she is. Like, don't blink, but there she is in the background. So, paying your dues.
Yeah, I always use the good excuse. They cut me,
There you go.
you
That,
know.
that's
But
right.
but I wanted to
Ended up
add,
on the ended up on the what do you call it? The cutting room floor, I think is what they call it.
yeah. They cut me because I'm not good looking. I don't know. But that's what I say. You know what I mean? But I wanted to ask you like because you've done also some stuff where like you've been listed as uncredited, and I wanted to ask you like, is that like the biggest insult in the industry, or like how do they decide that?
Yeah, it's kind of not cool. I know one thing that I'm listed as uncredited on, and it was a film, and I was there, and we did the shots, but essentially it was like it was sort of like ending up on the cutting room floor because in the end, the final edit of the film, my whole scene was completely done away with. So yeah, it's a little, but unless you actually show up on film, yeah, then you end up being uncredited, but but that means you were there, but your scene was cut, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, because I got one thing that I'm listed as uncredited, and I remember when they told me that I was like, I thought my character's name was Travis.
I like that.
You
They
know,
changed your name.
now I'm telling everyone, yeah, I'm uncredited in Goosebumps or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's just but then like I read that you went to broadcast you were a broadcaster for the news at your hometown or something. Is that correct or
That's right. I went into that's what I studied in school, or part of what I studied in school, journalism, and then I got a job at the local ABC affiliate station in my hometown, basically right out of school. And I did that for about a year and a half, and decided that it really was not the job that I thought it was going to be at all.
uh
It was just honestly, it was a little depressing for me. I think
yeah.
that fires and floods and murders and all the bad stuff, and then maybe you're lucky in the last 10 minutes of the broadcast they'll talk about something nice, something positive. So it was a little kind of played with my mental state a little bit, and so I decided no, this is not right for me.
I
So
I took a semester for broadcasting, like just one semester, and
mhm.
because I thought, hey, broadcasting sports would be cool or something, because I like sports, I guess,
Mhm.
and I didn't have fun because I would always like be trying to make all these like jokes and stuff, and then when I read this about you, I was like, dude, I think I would totally have fun on that because I would be totally like weekend updatey. You know what I mean? Like I would just make jokes about every tragic thing
Yeah.
and everyone would hate me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
You might get fired for that. I don't
well,
know.
yeah, but I mean, you gotta put a little laugh in people's spirits in difficult times, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh, I agree. I totally agree with you. So
Yeah.
that's why I ended up doing entertainment news because I figured, well, it's entertainment news. So how
Yeah.
bad can it really, I mean, there are elements, of course, of bad stuff, but
That's even funner. You know
it's,
what
yeah, exactly.
I mean? Yeah, like for example, if I was an entertainment reporter, and I was on the red carpet and I saw Ryan Reynolds, I'd be like, "Hey, your wife's in some trouble, huh?" Like just little jokes and stuff
And,
because
and what do you think would happen next?
I'm hoping he put me in Deadpool 4.
Oh, okay. Well, try it. Try it one day and see if that happens.
You just gotta go you just gotta go for it. You know what I mean? Oh no. But I wanted to ask you about Nutty Professor 2, the clumps.
Hmm.
Because like how is that? You were a bridesmaid, you know what I mean? And that's always cool being a bridesmaid, right?
Oh, sure.
You saw
I
Jenna
was
Jackson marry Eddie Murphy. I mean, that's
Yeah,
kind of cool.
I got to be her maid of honor, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, there's that was a little earlier on in my career, so I think probably at that time Janet Jackson and Eddie Murphy were the biggest, stars that I had ever had a chance to work with. And being literally, since I was her bridesmaid, being right here beside her, that was really exciting. I'll tell you a funny story about that though. So Eddie plays all of those different characters in Nutty Professor.
Right.
And so one day while I was in my trailer, I got a call from the one of those production assistants telling me to go to hair and makeup to get done. And I went to the trailer that I thought I was supposed to be going to, since they didn't leave me. So, and I thought I knew where I was going. Go in there, and I open the door, and Eddie Murphy is sitting there getting all the prosthetic stuff put on. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, because you're told early on, don't disturb the stars, and not in this particular case, but
Right.
when you kind of first start acting, like when you're doing the background work and that kind of stuff, they're like, oh, don't disturb the stars. They're focusing and all that sort of thing. So I said, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Turns out it wasn't Eddie at all.
Oh my gosh.
It was his brother Charlie, who was,
Oh.
and that's how they shoot those scenes. Anytime one of the characters that Eddie was, one of the say five characters that he wasn't playing, anytime that character was in the scene but not speaking, it was actually Charlie in the
Whoa.
same makeup. So
That's a
that
little
was
movie magic for
little
you.
movie magic. Yeah.
Yeah. Eddie Murphy was like, we shouldn't let Charlie talk. We should just let him be there, and then we'll cut it. Then I'll talk. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what works. Yeah.
No, Charlie Murphy was a great stand-up, and like you want to hear a little sad story.
Sure.
Is
Sure.
not to bring the energy down, but I asked him to do the podcast, and he said yes, and then a week later he died. So I
Um,
never got a chance to interview him, and I was like,
yeah.
oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a shame. What a shame.
Yeah, it's like why couldn't he have died after I interviewed
Oh,
him?
jeez.
You know what I mean? I don't know.
Okay.
But hey, but yeah, best podcast you've ever done. I guarantee it. Hey, I wanted to ask you, can you talk about A Man's Promise? Because like I was trying to find it to watch it because I like romance movies and I don't know if it's out yet. And I was
Do
wondering, is that
you? Okay.
yeah?
Well, this is it's streaming on Passion Flix is the name of the streaming service.
I'm gonna
Passion
write
Flix.
this down. Passion flicks.
Yep. Passion, like it's PASSIONFLIX.
All right.
Passion Flix. And that comes out on February 13th.
Oh,
And that is
Valentine's Day.
well, day before, yep, just in time
Oh,
for Valentine's
excellent.
Day. Yep.
Huh.
Yep. So it's a good one. It's the um, third in a trilogy of it's based on a book by Brenda Jackson, or a series of books by Brenda Jackson, and it's the third in the series about the Granger family. And
Oh,
so I play one of the members of the Granger family. I'm Carson, it's my name, and I'm an attorney again.
oh my gosh. You got
Yes.
all this attorney skills.
I guess, I should have,
Yeah.
you know what? I did want to go to law school. So, and I didn't get it. I mean, well, I could have gone in, but I could have gotten in. I passed the LSATs and all that, but I never went. So
Oh my
maybe this
God.
is what I was meant to do.
Uh, my mom is an attorney, and I really love my mom, but between us, I don't think she's really happy. You know what I mean? Because like it's one of those jobs where like there's so much stress.
Yeah.
Like you like if someone's guilty or whatever and they're not guilty, you gotta be like, I gotta get them off, even though they're not guilty. And then if they are guilty, you still gotta get them off. Like it's just so like it mind fucks you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I totally get that. And then, yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. I hope your mom is not unhappy, but I will say every lawyer that I've ever met, and I've met a few, none of them are, the law has not been what they thought it was going to be when they were in law school. It's been,
Yeah.
or yeah,
Yeah.
kind of
Uh,
sad.
I think that's one of the most stressful jobs in the world, where it's like, holy, and like you can't be funny on that. You know what I mean? That's why I don't like it. Like I'd be like, oh my God. I'd be like,
Yeah,
yeah, you killed a
yeah.
guy. Good luck in prison. You know what I mean? I don't know
Good luck.
like how to make that funny, but
Yeah, yeah. Maybe I think you're probably in the right job. You
oh,
know,
podcasting
law.
comedy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Probably don't do the law thing, the legal
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. I always thought, hey, if I was an actor, maybe I could be a funny lawyer at like My Cousin Vinny or whatever.
Yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
But then I don't want
That's
to
a
be
good career.
compared to Joe Pesci. Like, that'd be...
Not a lot of people compare to him. No, he was great in that, wasn't he?
Oh, he was awesome. I wanted to ask you though, like, when you get these roles, because like on All the Queen's Men, you're an attorney, and then in this a movie on Passion Films, A Man's Promise, which I can't wait to watch, you're an attorney. Do you
Mhm.
like do some research and talk to other attorneys? Like, hey, how would you go with this storyline, or is that just something you just come up with on yourself?
Well, most of the time I just come up with it on myself, on my own, basically. Because, well, as I mentioned, I've known a few attorneys. As a matter of fact, I was married before, and my husband passed away, but he was
Oh,
also
I'm so sorry.
an attorney. So I have I have a weird, I've been surrounded by attorneys for a lot of years. So I don't know. I feel like I channel all of them maybe somehow.
Yeah, because I write scripts and I wrote like this pretty dark thrillery one about a kidnapping and stuff and there's cops and stuff and I remember when I was writing it I interviewed cops at my local police station. They thought I was the weirdest dude ever. They're like, "Why do you want to hear this?" I was like, "Oh, it's for the research of the script." You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I just wonder if actors kind of do that too. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
absolutely. Absolutely. Especially if it's, a scenario that you're completely unfamiliar with, it gives you a lot of insight to talk to someone who actually does whatever the job is or has been in a similar situation as you're going to be portraying. So
Yeah.
definitely.
And I wanted to ask you, and I do apologize, I've never seen this, but I looked at it. It looks really cool. But you were in something called The Sting of the Black Scorpion, and I thought it was cool because your character name was Tender Lovin'.
I know. AKA, I was an AKA Tender Lovin'. Her real name was Veronica, but
Oh, okay.
AKA Tender Lovin'. So yeah, I bet you know what? I don't know. I have a feeling you might like this because I don't know. I just
Okay.
feel like this might appeal to your sense of humor. So Black Scorpion was a show that was on the Sci-Fi Channel way back in the beginning of the network. I guess it is. It was before. How's it spelled now? Is it SIC SCI? Anyway, it was spelled SYFY at the time, sci-fi.
Oh, nice.
And so this show was produced by the Stainless Black of the Black Scorpion was the film. And then there was one just called Black Scorpion before the series. I did the series,
Oh,
and the
nice.
series was parts of the series was actually turned into a film. Some of the outtakes and things. So it's kind of interesting how he did it. But it was produced by a guy by the name of Roger Corman. I don't know if you know that name, but
No,
he was kind of king of B movies. He did a lot of he did one called something like Attack of the 50-Foot Woman or something. I don't know. He did a lot of, just
That
kind of
sounds cool.
funny, B movies, but a lot of great actors got their start with him. I know Al Pacino did some stuff with them, and just names that, as you're getting who became super famous. And I remember thinking, well, if it's good enough for Al Pacino, it's definitely good enough for me. So,
Yeah.
but we had a
So,
lot of fun shooting that because it was kind of based on a comic book series too. So it was a lot of fun.
so how cool was it when you auditioned? They're like, "All right, here's your character slides. Your name is Tender Lovin'," and you're like, "All right." Like how like that's the coolest name in the world, I feel. You know what I mean? Like, how?
So Tender Lovin' was actually she was a former prostitute. That's how she got the name Tender Lovin'. You find out
Whoa.
that. Yeah, she was former prostitute turned fashion designer, but she still kind of dressed a little like a prostitute. So that kind of gives you gives you an idea. But in auditioning for that, I had to audition for that part four times.
Oh
Four
my gosh.
times, and they kept calling me back. But every time it's like, oh, she's too this, she's not enough that, blah blah blah. There was, because you'd get feedback from the casting people and all that, and but then they kept calling me back.
Yeah.
So the last time I went in for the fourth audition, a girlfriend of mine was visiting at the time, and I was still just telling her, I was like, "Ah, I don't even know what to wear. I have no idea." So she had this. She says, "Let me see if there's something in my suitcase." She goes through her suitcase. She finds this little teeny tiny leopard print dress,
Oh my gosh.
and I got the part after reading. Now, the funny thing is, all through the series, all I was well, all every episode, my character ended up wearing some sort of animal print. So it was leopard or cheetah or zebra or whatever. So I think that her dress inspired.
Corella
It's,
Deville.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's awesome because I just think like holy Lord, that's the cool like that's the coolest laughable type thing, be like, I was tender loving, like I don't know. If I do like a movie, I kind of want to say, "Hey, can we change my name from Travis to Tender Lovin'?"
Tender love.
I don't need this uncredited bullshit. Just call me Tender Lovin'.
Tender loving.
Um, but on a serious note, I am joking about, it, but I did want to ask this because, like, I'm not a lady, but like from a guy's perspective, like when you're an actor, you start off as like, oh, the hot boyfriend, right? Or you turn into the best friend who can't get the girl, or then you turn into the serial killer, then you go into the lead, right? For
Right.
ladies, it seems like they start off as like, I don't know, like ladies of the night, right? And then they move into nurses, then they move into the lawyers, then the mistresses, then the lead. You know what I mean? Is that like kind of like a right track pattern type thing?
That's pretty accurate. Yeah, that is pretty accurate. I mean, and and I think part of it is it's about aging. So for example, the I won't say what age I am, but I used to play nothing but love interests. But at the time, all of the leads, the guys, they were in their 20s, some maybe 30s or whatever, and it would be it just it just kind of fit. And so the longer you stay in the business, you kind of grow into some of these parts too. It wouldn't make unless you were doing something, unless the show was specifically about a 15-year-old attorney. You probably wouldn't have a 15 or 20-year-old playing a serious attorney,
Right.
because you need time to develop, the maturity and all of that sort of thing that would make, it seems to make more sense for an attorney like character to have. Um, so yeah, so I think you're right on target with what you said about that. Yeah, you just kind of
I just thought of a great movie idea with your help. We could call it The 15-Year-Old Attorney. It could be like a comedy, right?
that's like, do you there's a show called Doogie Howser. Do you know about Doogie Howser?
Yeah, yeah, I love that
Yeah,
show.
so that's like it's the legal version of Doogie Howser, I guess, huh?
Yeah, yeah, but Hollywood magic. I know that you said that you used to play a lot of love interests, but I gotta tell you, this new movie I'm writing, I hate to break it to you, you're gonna play the love interest again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I'm an
Yeah.
actor. I'll do it.
All right. It'll be a podcaster interviews a celebrity and they fall in love.
Ah,
It's called Reza Riffs.
okay. What?
Okay, excellent.
This one.
Yeah, yeah. Next question, I wanted to ask about your fears in this business. Like when you first started, did you have like fears like whether auditioning or who you're working with or something like maybe you're like, why did they hire me? Or like you know how like your mind goes in a million
Yeah.
directions and when especially when you're younger, a lot of people aren't very smart when they're younger because they don't realize the business, especially when they're starting.
It's true. It's true. You know, it's funny because I didn't really get nervous. Really, I really didn't get all that nervous about anything until I booked my first series regular, which was Malcolm and Eddie. I kind of got into acting a little bit by accident, so
Yeah.
that's another weird story. But I had had a lot of experience in being on stage, so I didn't have stage fright or wasn't afraid of the camera or anything like that, because of the journalism. I was used to being on camera. So I didn't really get, you know, nutty about or nervous about anything until I got my first series regular. And I remember this too. I had this one scene, and strangely enough, I was playing it, that my character was reporting from one of, little bar scene we had going. And I just remember my legs started shaking like crazy. And I just, because I think it was the most lines that I had ever had. And
Yeah.
just remember thinking, but literally my leg just started shaking. And one of the guest actresses said, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm fine. I'm fine."
Oh,
So, but the unknown can be pretty scary too. I mean, but I had an advantage again in that I was used to being on stage. I was used to being in front of a camera. So I didn't really have that kind of anxiety, but a lot of people do. And as far as the business side of the business, that's something you just have to learn along the way and get some great representation, get a great agent. If you're lucky enough, get a great manager, and they can hold your hand and walk you through all of that.
yeah. Oh man, like I wanted to ask like how do you prepare yourself when you memorize lines and stuff? Because that, if I'm being honest as an actor, even though I'm a terrible actor, I think that that's the hardest thing for me to do.
Um, that's not too much of a problem for me because simply because with the journalism background and always having to do things live, I'd write stuff down and just like commit it to memory. And so that isn't that a big of a deal for me. But I coach some young actors, and I
Oh,
mean,
nice.
yeah, so I've seen all kinds of methods, and you pretty much have to figure out what works for you. I have one young actor who she somehow it helps her to write down the first letter of every word um, in the sentence that she's trying to or the paragraph, whatever. But because I was looking at her sides, her script one day, and she had all these letters. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's what she does. Somehow that works. That triggers her memory. um Other people will read it once and put it down and walk away from it, and come back a little later, and other people have to sit with it forever and just memorize, sentence after sentence after sentence. So that's something that you pretty much have to figure out for yourself. For me, I don't know if I have a photographic memory, but I kind of do kind of see the lines. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, my acting teacher gave me the advice because I was such a bad actor. He was like, you should probably ask him to cut it after every line. I was like, what does that mean? He's like, just memorize one line and say cut. I say cut and then do it. I was like, oh.
Okay.
I don't know if he was being
I
nice or insulting. I don't know. But
know. Could try it.
yeah, well, I mean, that's why I always get uncredited Travis.
Ah,
Or
it's
I,
starting to make sense now. Yeah.
yeah, I'm a terrible actor. I'm sorry. I'm a much better podcaster comedian, I swear. But
You're a great podcaster comedian, for sure.
oh, well, thank you. I wanted to ask you about all the Queen's Men because that's like the show right now. Like everyone is watching it. Like I talked to someone, right? And they're like, "Oh, I'm watching all the Queen's Men." I was like, "Holy Lord!" Like it's like the Ozark right now. Like everybody's watching it. I wanted to ask, like, when you got it, because it's also one of those shows where like they probably film like episode 4 and episode 9 all together, and then they cut it together with the storylines. You know what I mean?
Yep, I know exactly what you mean. I was thrilled. I mean, I was thrilled when I got in. You know, you're an actor. You're always happy to get work, which is, you know, it's a blessing for sure. But this show, yeah, it was my first time working with on a Tyler Perry production, and I had heard some little, you know, rumblings here and there, I guess, about how he shoots his shows. What he does is say, okay, I'm an attorney there. So say that we have 5 episodes that are all in a courtroom.
Right.
Rather than shoot, okay, we're going to shoot episode 4 today and episode 5 next week and 6 the 6 follow the following week, which is the way it usually works. Is he goes through and finds all the episodes of all, you know, that are being shot in or that are based in a courtroom, and you shoot all of them
Oh my
in
gosh.
usually in one day. Um,
What?
usually in one day.
Holy
So
Lord.
they'll shoot up to 100, you know, over 100 pages a day in that way. And that won't even be all of it. It won't all be in the courtroom, but just like all, you know, if you're going to be in courtroom, everything is going to be done in one day. So you have to have a good sense of what's going on and, you know, throughout the entire season, and not to mention, you know, have all those lines memorized. So,
Yeah. Oh
so
my gosh.
yeah, so that could be a little tricky.
That's intense. Like 100 pages a day.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing, and I didn't know how in the world we could do it, but it gets done, and you know, yeah, it's been a great experience,
don't
really.
they normally, I'm sorry for cutting you off, but don't they normally like record like 2 or 3 pages a day and they just keep recording that to make sure they got every shot angle and stuff?
Yes, and that's the other thing. He typically uses at least 3, sometimes as many as 4 cameras
Yeah.
at any given time. That way, you're getting every angle at the same time. And you often get no more than 2 takes.
Oh
If
my God.
if you're lucky, you get 2 takes. So
Whoa.
you have to know what your you have to know your lines.
I don't think I'm gonna be on all the Queen's Men anytime soon. I think that dream's gone now.
It's no, but it really is. No, it's a great experience, and you know, and it certainly is. If you want to even say it this way, it's been great training for any future work as well, because again, it does strengthen your ability to memorize very quickly too, and sort of break down scripts and analyze what's going on very quickly. So
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, because, I like interviewing a lot of people. Like, a lot of people do say no to me, but whenever, like, people, like, ask me, I always say yes because I love interviewing people. And this one guy, I don't want to say his name, but he's like a big soap opera guy. You know what I mean? A big star. And I
mhm.
know nothing about soap operas. So I was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool. And then, like, I tried to, like, do the research. He's in, like, 1,000 episodes. I was like, there's no way I'm watching all this, right? So I tried to find the best of the best, and it's like 5 hours, long. I'm like, so confusing, right? So then when I was talking to him, I was just like, so I gotta be honest with you, you're in 1,000 episodes of Days of Our Lives, huh? Yeah, and like he was telling me how like they shoot one episode a day,
Yeah,
like, and
yeah.
it's like that's why there's so many episodes of this
Mhm.
crazy soap opera, Gene. And I
Yeah.
thought, holy Lord, I don't want to be on a soap opera either.
You know what? I think you know, it's funny because what are they saying? You only use most people use only about 10% of their brain or whatever. We don't we most people do not we don't fully utilize as much of our brain as we could.
Right.
I think that's what I'm trying to say. So, you know, memorization, I think it's like it's like anything. It's like working out, for example. If you don't workout, if you're not lifting weights or whatever, you're probably not going to have the same kind of muscles that you would have if you did work out every day. So if
Yeah.
you're using your brain in that way, the more you do it, the more what am I trying to say? The more easily it comes to you. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
It makes totally sense, and that's why I don't work out because Enya, I went to the gym once, right? And you probably don't have this experience because you're in shape. I'm not, And I was like doing the bench press, and I had to have like some guy help me, you know.
Here we go.
And
What are friends for?
yeah, well, I didn't know this guy. Like
Is
he was like a guy who worked at the gym or something. He was like Hulk Hogan. Like he could it was crazy. And like all these guys, like they're like in a way like very sexual in a weird way because like I'm lifting and the guy's like pump it. I was like, "What?" He was like, "Pump it again." I was like, "Huh?" He's like, "Give me another one." I was like it just like threw me off on the whole workout. You know what I mean? That's why I
you
don't
are
work.
funny.
That's why I don't work out
I got it.
because they're two different things. That's all I'm
Yeah, I
saying.
hear you now. Okay, I get your reasoning in this now.
Yeah. Okay. I wanted to respect your time, but I do have three more questions. Can I?
Okay.
Okay. So I wanted to talk to you about Deal or No Deal because you were one of the models, with the briefcase. You're like, yeah, maybe there's $1, maybe there's $1 million. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah.
I wanted to ask like how when you're filming that. I don't know because like you have a job to do, but also like you're seeing all these guys getting like all excited for a case. Like, did you ever think to yourself in the back of your mind, this is fucking ridiculous. These guys are just
No, no, because there's a lot of money in some of those cases. I
but
mean,
after taxes,
well, still, listen, I would rather have $1 million, or whatever's left after taxes than not have it.
that's true. But
You
what if the
know,
guy won a $1, right? And then he got taxed and he only gets like 10 cents. It's like
yeah,
kind of
that
like
kind of suck. Yeah, that would be very unfortunate. No, but you know what? That was a lot of fun, and it's funny because you do get into it. The hardest part of that job, honestly, was standing in those heels.
yeah,
So you're kind of praying that you'll be the person that the contestant will choose as who he thinks has the $1 million in their briefcase. That way, okay, you can sit down the rest of the show. Um, so that was the hardest part of standing in those heels because they were pretty high. But yeah, you find yourself really getting into it because everybody wants to see somebody win.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, so it's a lot of fun.
When I watched that show, I mean, I only watched it for you, don't get me wrong. But when
Oh,
I watched it, I actually watched it because I really wanted to see the banker.
oh
Like, I
no,
wanted to know who is the banker. No
no,
one knew who the banker was. It was
nope.
just
I,
like,
I
huh?
didn't even know who the banker was, so none of us did.
Yeah, so you never met the real banker?
Nope,
Oh my
no,
gosh.
top secret.
Top secret. I just wanted to ask him how much money does he have in this bank? Because he only has 20 cases,
No, apparently a lot.
Yeah. But how was like filming something like that? Because it is a game show where when you're filming like a sitcom or just a regular show or whatever, we talked about the cuts and stuff. But on a game show, do they do that or do they just go straight to it?
They generally go straight through it. They don't back, like, once you have say you've opened a case, they don't go back and say, okay, let's go back and do that again. But say, I don't know. So I don't know. I don't know what could happen, but I mean, it's there's nothing that if there is a break, it's because maybe a shot wasn't quite right or something like that, which almost never happens. I mean, it doesn't affect the validity of the game. Does that
Right.
make? Yeah. So it's just something minor.
Yeah. And I do apologize. I do want to respect your time, but I have one more question on this first question.
Okay.
Uh, so what was the highest amount of the case that you got that you remembered, or do they tell you, "Hey, you're gonna get the $1 million. Try not to like spoil it," or like,
No, they don't. We have no idea how much is in the case.
oh,
You find out. The models found out when everybody else found out.
So it's kind of like a
Or
game on you guys.
seconds before as you're looking in. Oh, seconds, okay, like that. What's the most I had? I want to say I think I think I had maybe like 7,500 once. I always had lower.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't have any super high cases, unfortunately, and I did get my number 8 when I had it was chosen once, and I can't remember how much the guy ended up settling for more than what was in the case after
Oh,
he.
so that's a good deal.
So that worked out well. Yeah.
Man, if I was a hot model on that show, and like hey, you got case number 6 or whatever, I'd be like,
No.
like I'd be like,
No, they were very strict about that. You just nope.
I'd be like, hey buddy, you should choose number 4.
And that, yeah, you'd probably end up being escorted out because of that. So.
Yeah, bummer. Okay, so my second to last question, Enya, is if you could go into a time machine and go back into the past and talk to a younger version of yourself. It could be from when you were a little girl, or it could be from yesterday. It could be in your wherever past your timeline is. But knowing what you know now, what would you tell yourself?
Two things. Don't worry if things aren't perfect.
Yeah.
And travel more. Travel more earlier in life. Yeah, that's I love traveling, and I wish that I had done more of it, as a younger person.
Yeah.
It wasn't something that was on my radar. It's not something that my parents suggested that I do or anything like that. So I really didn't discover traveling until a little bit later in my life. So those are the two things.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that because I thought for sure you were going to say like I'll be an actress, I'll be Enya. I'll be like, okay, like you're the younger version of myself, right? I'd be like, Enya Flack, how are you? I'm Enya Flack from 2025. Hey, listen, your future husband Keith Reza, when you play a joke on him and you turn off all the lights, make sure you unplug the fridge because he's going to catch on to this. And then I
I
go
didn't think
back
of
in
that.
time.
I didn't think of that.
I know.
All right, can I answer again? No.
Yeah, definitely. And then my last question is, where can the folks at home follow and support you at? Like social media, Twitter, IG, Cameo, whatever you got.
I got Instagram, I've got Facebook, and I've got Twitter. I have a TikTok account, but I'm almost never on it, so don't bother. But it's just my name. It's Enya Flack, ENYAFLACK.
Oh, nice. Well, hey, thank you so much for talking to me. It was a blast, and thank you for liking my blue screen glasses because I was very worried about it. I was like, I
I,
was gonna go with contacts.
no, I like them. I like them, and it actually helps. It helps you with the screen. It works well for you.
I hope so. I don't know. I'm gonna take them off
Okay.
and be like, but
Well, you
yeah,
have to let me know later then.
I will. But hey, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I really hope this was the best interview you've ever done because it was an honor to make you smile.
It was wonderful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Keith. Thank you.
All right, Anya. Well, we'll see you later, and I'm on to you when the lights don't work. Don't I just know. All right. I'll see you later, Anya. Have a great
Bye.
day.
Thank you.
All right, guys, that was an interview with Anya Flack. Subscribe, review, tell a friend, and watch All the Queen's Men and A Man's Promise. See you guys next week on Razor Refs.